but it has an odor to it.
Yeah, it smells, right?
Yes.
And that's clear and obvious. If you believe you're on the hook legally for $1.7 billion to Iran, why do you have to keep it secret? And why do you have to do it in cash?
Well, that's a great point.
There are Swiss banks that are available for that, Tucker.
Well, they're going to say that any kind of international banking transaction with Iran is incredibly complicated, which I think, strictly speaking, is true. But why would you do it in secret? I mean, this component of the deal was known, that Iran was expecting payment of frozen funds, et cetera, et cetera. But the truth remains that the administration did not reveal this to the public, and that American hostages were released at the same time. And it's impossible not to draw the conclusion that this was, at least in part, ransom money. And boy, that's of a piece, by the way, for all the talk about how we never pay for ransom for hostages, we don't negotiate. The truth is that news organizations and governments very often pay ransom and negotiate. And everyone in Washington, for example, knows that. And the lying and the sanctimony around this subject is very hard to take once you know that. So
what it suggests, ultimately, if this is all true from the Wall Street Journal, is that this administration was desperate to get a deal.
Yeah.
And they were so desperate, if Iran makes the demand, okay, well, we will match that.
Yeah, of course. And if that the Americans being held in Iran were pawns that accelerated the deal, used by Iran as leverage. This was ransom. Now, I mean, is that provable? Hard to prove it. Maybe it'll never be proved, but I mean, I think any reasonable person looking at this is going to reach that conclusion. And so does that set up a precedent that makes it more dangerous for Americans abroad? It's certainly a violation of everything this and previous administrations have told us publicly about their posture toward ransom. They're always against it. They don't negotiate with terror groups, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And again, the truth is they do, not just in this instance, but in other instances.
Which is dangerous. Tucker, stand by one moment. James Rosen is here as well. And so now we have Admiral Kirby from the State Department. Sir, do you hear me? It's Bill Hemmer. Good morning to you.
I got you loud and clear.
We've been trying to establish this connection. Now that we have it, thank you for your time, first of all, and good morning to you.
Sorry I'm a little bit late.
It's okay. You said last night this was part of a long-standing legal agreement with Iran. So why pay the money? Why pay cash?
Well, first of all, it's their money. This was $400 million in a trust fund that had been frozen back in the late 70s, early 80s. So this was a long-standing claim. It was their money. And as the president said at the time, and we spoke to this at the time, that now with the prisoners released, now with the Iran deal done, it made no sense for us to continue to drag out this claim. And so we settled it.
You spoke about that at the time, right? That's what you're saying?
Absolutely. Not only I did, Secretary Kerry did, the president did.
The president on January 17th from the White House, with the nuclear deal done, prisoners released, time was right to resolve this decades-old dispute.
That's exactly right.
There was no mention of a cash payment that day by the president.
Well, the only thing new in this article that I've seen in the Wall Street Journal is some color here about the payment schedule itself. But and I can't speak to the specific issue, but the fact that we had settled this claim and done so, I might add, by saving American taxpayers billions of dollars that we might have had to pay had we not reached this compromise.
I remember you making that argument.
That's right.
There's $1.3 billion outstanding dollars that the administration believes it owes Iran now. So when are you going to make those payments?
It's not that we believe we owe. We have compromised, and we do owe. And I don't have the payment schedule here in front of me. But this compromise was actually done to the taxpayers' benefit here, because there were potentially billions of dollars additionally that they would have had to pay had we not reached this compromise. And that's billions of dollars more that would have been available to Iran that they're not going to have now.
But it is clear that this was not made public. And it appears that it was kept secret. And it appears, sir, that it smells. Well, when you see video at night of an unmarked jet with pallets of euros and Swiss franc being unloaded as a payment for Iran, it looks bad. And it smells.
I'll let you speak to how you want to characterize video coverage of this. What I can tell you is there is no secret about it. The president spoke about it in January. The secretary spoke about it. I spoke about it. Everybody has been upfront and honest about what happened here and why it happened and how it happened. And oh, by the way, the teams that were negotiating the release of our Americans was a completely separate team than was working in the Hague Tribunal to negotiate this claim. Completely separate process.
Can I then,
though simultaneously done The timing is all coincidental. And again,
this is from the Wall Street Journal report. This is very important now, okay? Because in its story today, it talks about Iranian press reports. And straight out of Tehran, they've quoted senior Iranian defense officials saying it was a ransom payment. Now, are they wrong?
So, yes, they are. They're absolutely wrong, Bill, completely wrong. And you can believe us, who talked about this on camera and on the record since January, or you can believe an unnamed anonymous defense official from Iran. You choose who you're going to believe to be more credible.
Well, $1.3 billion to go, correct?